Reading through the Bible in 1 year, July 10th, Joshua chapters 12 through 13, Psalm 145, Jeremiah chapter 6, and Matthew chapter 20. Now these are the kings of the land whom the sons of Israel struck down, and whose land they possess beyond the Jordan to the east toward the sunrise, from the valley of the Arnon as far as Mount Hermon, and all the Arabah to the east. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon, and ruled from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of Arnon, both the middle of the valley and half of Gilead, even as far as the brook Jabbok, or Jabbok, the border of the sons of Ammon, and the Arabah as far as the sea of Chinneroth, or Kinneroth, toward the east, and as far as the sea of the Arabah, even the Salt Sea, eastward toward Beth Jeshimoth, and on the south at the foot of the slopes of Pisgah, and the territory of Og, king of Bashan, one of the remnant of the Rephaim, who lived at Ashtaroth and Edrei, and ruled over Mount Hermon and Salekah and all Bashan, as far as the border of the Geshurites and the Maacathites, and half of Gilead, as far as the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and the sons of Israel struck them down, and Moses, the servant of Yahweh, gave it to the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh as a possession. Now, these are the kings of the land whom Joshua and the sons of Israel struck down beyond the Jordan toward the west, from Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon, even as far as Mount Halak, which rises toward Seir. And Joshua gave it to the tribes of Israel as a possession, according to their divisions. In the hill country, and in the Shephelah, and in the Arabah, on the slopes and in the wilderness, and in the Negev, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. The king of Jericho, 1. The king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, 1. The king of Jerusalem, 1. The king of Hebron, 1. The king of Jarmuth, 1. The king of Lachish, 1. The king of Eglon, 1. The king of Gezer, 1. The king of Debir, 1. The king of Geder, 1. The king of Hormah, 1. The king of Arad, 1. The king of Libnah, 1. The king of Adullam, 1. The king of Makkedah, 1. The king of Bethel, 1. The king of Tappuah, 1. The king of Hepher, 1. The king of Aphek, 1. The king of Lasharon, 1. The king of Madon, 1. The king of Hazor, 1. The king of Shimron Meron, 1. The king of Akshaph, 1. The king of Taanach, 1. The king of Megiddo, 1. The king of Kadesh, 1. The king of Jokneam in Carmel, 1. The king of Dor in the heights of Dor, 1. The king of Goim in Gilgal, 1. The king of Tirzah, 1. In all, 31 kings. Now Joshua was old, advanced in years, and Yahweh said to him, "You are old and advanced in years, and very much of the land remains to be possessed. This is the land that remains, all the regions of the Philistines, and all of those of the Geshurites, from the Shihor, which is east of Egypt, even as far as the border of Ekron to the north. It is counted as Canaanite. The 5 lords of the Philistines, the Gazite, the Ashdodite, the Ashkelonite, the Gittite, the Ekronite, and the Avivite. That's a hard one to say. Verse 4, to the south, and all the land of the Canaanite, and the Merara. I'm going to go Merah, that belongs to the Sidonians, as far as Aphek, to the border of the Amorite, in the land of the Gebelite, and all of Lebanon, to the east, toward the sunrise, from Baal-Gad, below Mount Hermon, as far as Lebo-Hamath, and all the inhabitants of the hill country, from Lebanon, as far as Mizraphoth-Maim, all the Sidonians. I will dispossess them from before the sons of Israel. Only allot it to Israel for an inheritance, as I have commanded you. So now, apportion this land for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and to the half-tribe of Manasseh." This is a great-looking map that explains everything that we have in the center. We have another one over here and out of the ESV Study Bible, which we're about to go through, and this one covers all of the land as it's been handed out. Continuing with verse 8 here. With the other half tribe, the Reubenites and the Gadites received their inheritance, which Moses gave them beyond the Jordan to the east, just as Moses, the servant of Yahweh, gave to them. From Auror, which is on the edge of the valley of Arnon, with the city which is in the middle of the valley, and all the plain of Medeba, as far as Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, as far as the border of the sons of Ammon, and Gilead, and the territory of the Geshurites and the Maacathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan as far as Salekah, and all the kingdom of Og in Bashan, who reigned in Ashtaroth, and in Edrei. He alone remained of the remnant of the Rephaim, for Moses struck them and dispossessed them. But the sons of Israel did not dispossess the land of the Geshurites or the Maacathites. So Geshur and Maacath, live among Israel to this day. Only to the tribe of Levi he did not give an inheritance. The offering by fire. Lost my spot. It's only this. Oh, there we go. Verse 14 again. Only to the tribe of Levi he did not give an inheritance. The offerings by fire to Yahweh, the God of Israel, are their inheritance, as he spoke to him. So Moses gave an inheritance to the tribe of the sons of Reuben according to their families. And their territory was from Auror, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, with the city which is in the middle of the valley, and all the plain of Medeba, Heshbon, and all its cities which are on the plain, Dibon, and Bamoth Baal, and Beth Baal Maon, and Jahaz, and Kedemoth, and Meaphath, and Kiriathaim, and Sibmah, and Zereth Shahar, on the hill of the valley, and Beth Peor. I'm going to bring up the image here so you can see what it looks like. Duck out of the way. There we go. So now you can see what it is. Okay. These are all the lands that are going to be broken up for the people to have. Back to the text. You know what? I'm just going to start over at 16. It's one of these days. We can do this. Let's go back to 15, because 15 is a better place to start. So Moses gave an inheritance to the tribe of the sons of Reuben according to their families. And their territory was from Auror, which is on the edge of the valley of Arnon, with the city which is in the middle of the valley, and all the plain of Medeba, Heshbon, and all its cities which are on the plain, Dibon, and Bamoth Baal, and Beth Baal Maon, and Jahaz, and Kedemoth, and Meaphath, and Kiriathaim, and Sibmah, and Zereth Shahar, on the hill of the valley, and Beth Peor, and the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Jeshemoth, even all the cities of the plain, and all the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses struck with the leaders of Midian, Evi, and Rechem, and Zur, and Hur, and Reba, the princes of Sihon, who lived in the land. The sons of Israel also killed Balaam, the son of Beor, the diviner, with the sword among the rest of their slain. And the border of the sons of Reuben was the Jordan. This was the inheritance of the sons of Reuben according to their families, these cities and their villages. Moses also gave an inheritance to the tribe of Gad, to the sons of Gad, according to their families. And their territory was Jazer, and all the cities of Gilead, and half the land of the sons of Ammon, as far as Auror, which is before Rabbah, and from Heshbon, as far as Ramoth Mizpah and Betonim, and from Mahanaim, as far as the border of Debir, and in the valley, Beth Haram and Beth Nimrah, and Succoth, and Zaphon, the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, the king of Heshbon, with the Jordan as a border, as far as the lower end of the sea of Chinnereth or Kinnereth, beyond the Jordan to the east. This is the inheritance of the sons of Gad according to their families, their cities, and their villages. Moses also gave an inheritance to the half-tribe of Manasseh, and it was for the half-tribe of the sons of Manasseh according to their families. and their territory was from Mahanaim, all Bashan, all the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all of Havoth-jair, which are in Bashan, 60 cities. Also half of Gilead, with Ashtaroth and Edrei, the cities of the kingdom of Og, the cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan, were for the sons of Machir, the son of Manasseh, or half the sons of Machir according to their families. These are the territories which Moses apportioned for an inheritance in the plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan at Jericho to the east. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses did not give an inheritance. Yahweh, the God of Israel, is their inheritance, as he has promised to them. That's all the notes to here. Let's move on now to Psalm 145. I will exalt you, my God, O King, and I will bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you, and I will praise your name forever and ever. Great is Yahweh, and highly to be praised. His greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall laud your works to another, and shall declare your mighty deeds. On the glorious splendor of your majesty, and on the words of your wondrous deeds I will muse. Men shall speak of the strength of your fearsome acts, and I will recount your greatness. They shall pour forth the memory of your abundant goodness, and will shout joyfully of your righteousness. Yahweh is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, and great in loving kindness. Yahweh is good to all, and his compassions are over all his words. All your works, O Yahweh, shall give thanks to you, and your holy ones shall bless you. They shall speak of the glory of your kingdom and talk of your might, to make known to the sons of men his mighty deeds and the glory of the majesty of his kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures from generation to every generation. Yahweh sustains all who fall and raises up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all wait for you, and you give them their food in due time. You open your hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. Yahweh is righteous in all his ways, and holy in all his works. Yahweh is near to all who call upon him, to all who call upon him in truth. He will work out the desire of those who fear him. He will hear their cry for help, and he will save them. Yahweh keeps all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak the praise of Yahweh, and all flesh will bless his holy name forever and ever. Now Jeremiah chapter 6. Flee for safety, O sons of Benjamin, from the midst of Jerusalem. Now blow a trumpet in Tekoa, and raise a signal over Beth-Hakerem. For evil looks down from the north, as well as great destruction. The comely and delicate one, the daughter of Zion, I will ruin. Shepherds and their flocks will come to her. They will pitch their tents around her. They will pasture each in his place. Set yourselves apart for war against her. Arise, and let us go up at noon. Woe to us, for the day declines, for the shadows of the evening stretch out. Arise, let us go up by night, and destroy her palaces. For thus says Yahweh of hosts, cut down her trees, and cast up a siege against Jerusalem. This is the city to be punished, in whose midst there is only oppression. Like a well keeps its waters fresh, so she keeps fresh her evil. Violence and devastation are heard in her. Sickness and wounds are continually before me. Heed discipline, O Jerusalem, lest my soul become disgusted at you, lest I make you a desolation, a land not inhabited. Thus says Yahweh of hosts. They will thoroughly glean as the vine, the remnant of Israel. Pass your hand again like a grape gatherer over the branches. To whom shall I speak and give warning that they may hear? Behold, their ears are uncircumcised, and they cannot give heed. Behold, the word of Yahweh has become a reproach to them. They have no delight in it. But I am full of the wrath of Yahweh. I am weary of holding it in. Pour it out on the infants in the street, and on the gathering of choice men together. For both husband and wife shall be captured, the aged with the one full of days. Their houses shall be turned over to others, their fields and their wives together. For I will stretch out my hand against the inhabitants of the land, declares Yahweh. For the least of them, even to the greatest of them, everyone is greedy for gain. And from the prophet even to the priest, everyone practices lying. They have healed the brokenness of my people superficially, saying, peace, peace. But there is no peace. Were they ashamed because of the abomination they have done? They were not even ashamed at all. They did not even know how to feel dishonor. Therefore, they shall fall among those who fall at the time that I punish them. They shall be cast down, says Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh, stand by the ways and see, and ask for the ancient paths, where the good way is, and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk in it. And I set watchmen over you, saying, give heed to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not give heed. Therefore, hear, O nations, and know, O congregation, what is among them. Hear, O earth, behold, I am bringing evil on this people, the fruit of their plans, because they have not given heed to my words, and as for my law, they have rejected it also. For what purpose does frankincense come to me from Sheba, and the sweet cane from a distant land? Your burnt offerings are not acceptable, and your sacrifices are not pleasing to me. Therefore, thus says Yahweh, behold, I am laying stumbling blocks before this people, and they will stumble against them. Fathers and sons together, neighbor and friend will perish. Thus says Yahweh, behold, a people is coming from the land of the north. A great nation will be aroused from the remote parts of the earth. They will take hold of bow and spear. They are cruel and have no compassion. Their voice roars like the sea, and they ride on horses, arranged as a man for the battle, against you, O daughter Zion. We have heard the report of it. Our hands are limp. Distress has taken hold of us, pain as of a woman in childbirth. Do not go out into the field, and do not walk on the road, for the enemy has a sword. Terror is on every side. O daughter of my people, gird yourself with sackcloth. Roll in ashes, mourn as for an only son, a lamentation most bitter. For suddenly the destroyer will come upon us. I have made you a tester of metals, and an assayer among my people, that you may know and test their way. Many of them are rebelliously stubborn, going about as a slanderer. They are bronze and iron. They, all of them, are corrupt. The bellows blow fiercely, and the lead is consumed by the fire. In vain the refining goes on, but the evil ones are not separated. They call them rejected silver, because Yahweh has rejected them. Concluding today in Matthew chapter 20. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. Jesus continues. Now when he had agreed with the laborers for a denarius a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour, so about 9 o'clock in the morning, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And to those he said, You also go into the vineyard, and whatever is right I will give you. So they went. Again he went out about the 6th hour, so noon, and the 9th hour, 3 p.m., and did the same thing. And about the 11th hour, about 5 p.m., he went out and found others standing around, and he said to them, Why are you still standing here idle all day long? Well, they said to him, Because no one has hired us. So he said to them, You too go into the vineyard. Now, when evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, Call the laborers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last group to the first. And when those hired, about the 11th hour came, each one received a denarius. When those hired first came, they supposed they would receive more. But each of them also received a denarius. Now when they received it, they were grumbling at the landowner, saying, These men worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the day in the scorching heat? But he answered and said to them, Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for a denarius? Take what is yours and go. But I wish to give this last man, to give to this last man the same as to you. Is it not lawful for me to do what I wish with what is my own? Or is your eye envious because I am generous? So the last shall be first, and the first last. And Jesus was about to go up to Jerusalem, and he took his 12 disciples aside by themselves, and he said to them on the way, Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be betrayed to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death, and will deliver him over to the Gentiles to mock and flog and crucify him. And on the third day he will be raised up. Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee came to him with her sons, and bowing down and making a request of him. And he said to her, What do you wish? She said to him, Command that in your kingdom these 2 sons of mine may sit, one on your right and the other on your left. These are positions of power and authority. But Jesus answered, okay, we'll go back into this for a second here. We talked about this before. Remember how the people are looking at the Messiah. They understand that he's the Mashiach, the Christ of God, right? And what they've been told is what we've also read about in Isaiah and the prophets, that he's going to come as the conquering ruler, this conquering great king who's going to come in and crush all of the oppression of the land. He's going to crush the Roman government. He's going to crush all of the people who have been against Israel from the beginning and raise up Israel as the pinnacle of the earth to rule over all of the people. That's what they're expecting to happen. And that absolutely is true. That is what Jesus will do. However, he's been telling them repeatedly, he is that Savior. He is that Messiah. But now he's the role of the suffering servant. Isaiah 53. That is his role here. He will come again. When he comes again, he's going to come with his iron rod, and every knee will bow, and he's going to crush all oppression against the kingdom, all oppression from the kingdom of humanity against the kingdom of God. He's not going to raise up a new kingdom of Israel, because as we've read in Romans chapter 9, the true Israel of God is whom? The elect of God, from wherever they may be. So he is both the conquering, ruling king who is to come, the King of kings and Lord of lords, the one to whom every knee will bow, and everyone will confess that Jesus is Lord, the Lord of all. But here, at this time, in this temporal realm, what is he doing? He's the suffering servant. So we'll see this repeatedly as we read through if you haven't read through the Gospels with me earlier this year, you'll see this repeating theme over and over in the Gospels, where they keep expecting him to, when are you going to come into your kingdom? Or when you come into your kingdom, can we rule with you? That's what we're seeing here. That's what they're asking. They want to rule today. Jesus even talks to the people and tells them, like when it was before the rich young ruler, it was the other person earlier on who comes and says, I'll go with you wherever you go. And his response is, the birds of the air have nests and the foxes have holes in the ground, but the Son of Man, Jesus' favorite name for himself, it literally means he's a human. The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. He's been telling them from the beginning that what they expect isn't what's going to come. The Pharisees and the Sadducees, the ruling class of the Jews, knew that he was the Messiah, but they expected him to be the ruling king. John the Baptist had the same questions and concerns. He's like, are you the one, or should we look for another? Because he was expecting the conquering king. That's the same thing we see here. We're going to see this repeated as we read through all of the Gospels. Continuing on. Jesus answered and said, you do not know what you are asking. It's like, you want to receive what I'm going to receive on this while I'm here? What does Jesus receive? Suffering and pain and torture. But also through his perfect obedience, he receives to himself the elect. Like, do you want to receive what's going to come to me? Are you able to drink the cup that I'm about to drink? This also goes back. He's about to drink the cup of the wrath of God. We read about this in Joel. Does this have a reference to it? Well, it refers to some of it. Isaiah 51 and Jeremiah 49. And they said to him, we are able. Again, two different views of the same Messiah. And he said to them, my cup you shall drink, but to sit on my right and my left, this is not mine to give, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father. After hearing this, the other disciples, became indignant with the two brothers. But Jesus called them to himself and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great men exercise authority over them. It is not this way among you, but whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant. And whoever wishes to be first among you shall be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, even though he deserves it. The King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the one who spoke, and the entire universe leapt into existence. Everything that exists only exists at his command and power. But he did not come to be served, but as a servant, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. And as they were leaving Jericho, a large crowd followed him. And behold, two blind men sitting by the side of the road, hearing that Jesus was passing by, cried out, saying, Lord, have mercy on us, Son of David. Again, that messianic title. But the crowd sternly warned them to be quiet, but they cried out all the more, saying, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us. And Jesus stopped and called on them and said, what do you want me to do for you? And they said to him, Lord, that our eyes be opened. And moved with compassion, Jesus touched their eyes, and immediately they regained their sight and followed him. This is another one of those sections that people will take as this is a contradiction in the Bible, can't trust it. Why? Because here in Matthew, we read that there's two people. Remember how I said Matthew has duplicates of certain people? It says two, but in the other Gospels, Mark and Luke, there's one guy. And I think it's in Luke, he's actually given the name Bartimaeus. That's all. All right. And that is it. That is all of the notes, and that is all of the text for today. So, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold the word of the Lord.